What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with another post-commentary analysis here. I was listening back to this video, and my thought process as I was trying to speak through this game live was very, very all over the place. Partly because I just hadn't really thought about this matchup on a very deep level. As that's the case, I think maybe going over it in post is going to be a much better idea, and talk through my sort of thought process here. So we're in the Greek mirror. Not only the Greek mirror, but the Zeus mirror. What does playing a mirror actually mean? It just means that both of us have access to the same thing, which should mean no matter what happens, I can defend what my opponent is going to throw at me. And having defender's advantage is going to be the advantage until something changes in the matchup. As it can, he can choose to go one minor god and I can choose to go a different one. So let's just quickly go over some of the basics of this civilization and why all this stuff matters so much. So Ulysses and I are both playing Zeus. We both have access to Boit, which can erase a unit from the game, which is a really big deal early game. And also we have access to Centaur and Minotaur in the classical age. So it's going to be a big decision as to which one you really want to go for. Now, in my brain, you have to go for Centaur here, because Centaur get map control, and they also get raids. They get pressure. Now, it is possible here to mass up a whole bunch of Minotaur in your base and attempt to wall yourself in and play around the Centaur raids really well, and then push out and try and find a win with the Minotaur. But I don't think it's practical. I don't think it's a very good way to play. I can see I'm having some issues trying to dump this gold into the gold mine. I'm so upset about this. The straggler tree was getting very much in the way there. Nonetheless, one thing that I was talking about here in the actual live game was I should go for a fast advance. I've got this beautiful straggler tree here next to my storehouse. And then I was like, no, I'm in a mirror. I shouldn't go for a fast advance because I want to be playing on the defensive and let him come for me. So I was in this really weird place where I was like, I don't really know what to do. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use the straggler tree. I'm going to get my temple up at a nice moment so I can start getting favor early. And that should let me get a couple more Centaur out in this game and have a good time of it. But I really don't know what the macro looks like in this game. I don't really know what I can afford because I don't think I've actually done this strategy before. So we'll see exactly how it goes. But this is my plan. My plan is to use Centaur and then try and get some map control here and try and get some damage. And first and foremost, and the biggest thing, is just try and prevent my opponent here from going for a naked fast second town center and defend myself from any crazy cheeses. So what are the crazy cheeses you can do here with Zeus? You can do a 315 advance, and you can send a Centaur into your opponent's base by about 320. That's the craziest cheese I've seen from Zeus. Luckily, playing as Zeus, I can just bolt that Centaur. Following on from that, 330 seems to be a fairly standard advance time. You can send your hero forward and you can send your Centaur forward. Again, I can just bolt that and my own Centaur can pick off the other Centaur or whatever. I can get my own hero out and defense. So I'm not too concerned by going for a 345. Now, if I go for a 345, my opponent here possibly could go for a 3-minute 30 and drop a town center, but they're not going to be able to defend that town center if they do that strategy. So I should be able to get my Centaur over there and have a good game of it, stopping that town center, or at least inflicting serious damage onto my opponent and then grabbing a town center a little bit later. So that's my idea. You can see I'm very much scouting these town centers here. I want to make sure he's not going for them. I'm sending my Centaur one way, I'm sending my scout the other way, and I'm just making sure that I'm kind of close to everything here, because letting him get a town center up for free when I'm going for Centaur is a terrible move. You will note that I've got about 8 villagers on wood. I've got 2 villagers on favor, got plenty of favor, and I do see him here, and I'm going to be attempting to kill off his Minotaur. I have to bolt this Minotaur, otherwise I'm not gonna. I can shoot and scoot. I probably could have saved the bolt for the Jason here, which might have been a bit better, but just because I'm a little bit like the Minotaur's a little bit faster than the Jason, and it probably does around about the same damage here. I just wanted to kind of do a little bit of a little bit of the dealing with that Jason. And I also know, because he's dropped the town center down so early, he actually is missing a lot of gold in this game for a Heracles. So he's only got that Jason out. I am managing to pick off a couple of villages here, spreading my center out onto 2 positions here to get some value, and just making sure that we're all good, and I can just get a couple more of these Centaur Deuterinos in. And I've also done this thing with my Centaur as well, where I've turned off the autocast, or at least I've tried to turn off the autocast. Reason for this is autocast, basically the special ability, all this does is it kind of makes it awkward for the villagers. Whereas if I just shoot them, like right there, if I just shot that low HP villager, it would have died. 100% would have died, and I would have been very happy. But he's sending a lot of villagers in. I actually, now would be a perfect time to drop that special, and I don't actually have access to it for just a little bit longer, and I'm struggling to get my units in here. I do get my Katoskopos onto these units here to get a little bit, and he's going to drop that restoration, which is totally fine. And we're just going to be microing as much as we can here to take out as many of these villages here as we can with that special, and drop our own town center as well. A bit of poor micro for me, as I knew I needed to drop my own town center there, but I picked off so many villages at this point in the game. Yeri gets a town center up. Woohoo for him. That's great, but we've got all the pressure in the world here. He's probably not able to even build villages consecutively at the moment with how many he sent onto the town center. So even though I get the secondary town center up second, I'm actually in a pretty good spot here. So now all I have to start worrying about is, okay, let's try and find where he's gathering food, and we're going to try and get some good value with these centaurs, putting pressure on all over the map, seeing what we can do. Just any amount of idle time here is totally fine. I actually do not care if I get a villager kill or not. I just want to cause idle time first and foremost. So run in, force his villagers away. Any amount is good. That's going to be paying for my centaurs in spades. I'm also noticing that my macro is a little bit off with that gold here. I think I went onto gold a little. Well, I went for the town center. That's why I'm on the gold, but I went for gold a little bit too hard there. I should have been pulling that one off, and it would have been in a little bit of a better spot here, just being able to produce maybe 1 or 2 more centaur, or even better, maybe getting that Sylvan Lore technology at the moment, just to boost these centaur up just a little bit more in terms of the HP. But yeah, at the moment, we're just going to be getting ourselves set up for pumping out Hippias, because we've got Centaur. That's kind of enough to deal with any small amounts of hoplites. And the only other 2 types of units he can make are going to be Hippias and Toxotes. And I think just building Hippias to counter that is going to be totally fine. And I see him going stable archery range anyways, so we're all good. Just checking his gold mine, making sure he's not stealing that one there, and we'll start thinking about pressuring that a little bit later. And now we can get ourselves our Spirit Charge upgrade. This technology actually also affects our Centaur. They're only moving at 5.5 speed, and I would love for them to be going a little bit faster here to get those raids in. So I just get that technology a little bit quick, and then I can start making my Hippias a little bit later. And as I'm doing that, it's now time to actually start going for a little bit more gold and a little bit more production, and just basically just trying to spend all my resources as best as I can. And yeah, it's basically at this point, it's just a macro off. I've got a very, very slight lead at the moment in this game. I'd say I'm probably ahead somewhere in the vicinity of 500 to 600 resources. And a lot of that is in these Centaur that I've currently got out. So I just need to make sure that I'm constantly putting pressure on with them, just to get myself a little bit more of an edge in the game. So I might be able to throw down a town center, a 3rd town center, where my opponent's not going to be able to. And that will convert into the biggest advantage we can possibly get here. Probably not going to be enough resources to just drop straight to the heroic age, so it is another option. I kind of much prefer in this sort of matchup to be chasing my opponent through the ages rather than jumping ages first. Part of the reason is because you have a little bit of counterplay in certain like god picks. Like, for example, if your opponent goes for Apollo, you could potentially hit a Dionysus sort of timing attack on a gold mine here. He does have a really, really nice back gold mine, and And he has a great wall that I did not notice as my Centaur literally just runs straight through there. Very, very smart wall. He baited me in and I fell for it and he got my Centaurs. And now I'd say he's basically equal, but he's researched watchtowers and I haven't. So we're pretty close in this game. If not 100% equal, we are equal. If not 100% equal, we're like I'm like 100 resources in front or something like that. So very, very small amount of difference here. But I do have the Centaur. I'm going to keep building those. I think it's important to be building myth units in a game of Age of Mythology. If you're not building myth units, or you're not getting yourself, if you're not using that favor in some way, that resource in some way, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, whether that be buying god powers, buying unique technologies, or getting myth units. That's something that you really need to be thinking about doing. And we are searching for some Deuterinos here. You can see me struggling with this autocast thing. I kind of want autocast off on all my units now as a default, and I want to be able to turn it on if I want it. It's seeming like there's less stuff that I actually want to use it for than not. I'm checking out this gold mine here, trying to see if he's on it, and he's not. I know that he's able to come in and stop me here, but I see there's an escape path down the bottom. So when he comes, I'm just going to basically run through that. Basically just run through that bottom gap. Or straight through his base, actually. I thought I saw that gap there, but I saw that gap in post. It would have been a nice one to run through. I would have got out very, very easily. But yeah, he's going to get a little bit of damage onto me, but not that big of a deal, as I'm still able to just cause a lot of idle villager time with these little cheeky raids. And I'm also going to be able to drop a town center here, which will really, really push me in front here. It does open up a timing attack, like I was kind of saying. He could potentially go heroic age and kill me here, but with all my pressure in this game and how restricted he feels here, this feels pretty safe to me. I've also got ceasefire if he spots the town center, so we're all good. And I'm just going to pop back up there and make sure that he's not going to be able to do anything there. Another little trick there that you just saw is rebuilding storehouses. This is something that the really, really good players do super, super well. I imagine if you watch Mr. play, he's going to be on top of this in a really big way. It gives actually a significant advantage in terms of wood income. We do see he spots my town center with that Pegasus, but I will be shooting said Pegasus down. One way you can really, really take an advantage with that Pegasus is by using the patrol command. If you patrol, then it's probably going to be able to miss a lot more arrows than anything else. So you want to be using that. I've got my Hippias on his town center down the bottom, just on patrol as well. And I'm basically just trying to annoy Ulysses in a way here. Just as much as I possibly can. Just say, stay on the back foot. Chase me around. I'm not going to fight you. I just want to make sure that you're not doing anything to me at the moment is the big deal. And also, one thing that's really, really big here is I've been able to hunt for the entirety of this game. Which does actually end up translating into really, really big dividends, because it means I haven't spent wood yet on farms. Now, I will have to spend wood at some point on those farms, but he's spent them on farms and I haven't. So yeah, it's actually quite a big advantage in a way. I've got a lot of gold at the moment. This is some poor macro. Too many villages on gold because I'm building these Hippias. I've got to kind of queue up into more on gold than I want, but I don't know what the right amount is. This is just, I just have to be paying attention a little bit more to my gold income and my gold expenditure and make sure everything is looking really good here. But I think kind of in the middle of deciding what to do, I've decided to actually go for the heroic age instead of continuing to build Hippias, which is probably the right call. But if I do that, I should be moving my economy around a little bit more. Like there was some elephants, there's some berries in front of the food over there I could have moved on to, and I'm going to be just trying to hit him on the raids, go into the next age. I do pick Apollo here, mostly because I don't feel like I'm going to hit much of a timing onto my opponent here, but in hindsight, I'm actually doing so much damage here that a bronze push with Dionysus, getting out Thracian horses, getting out some Skylar would be really, really good. Now, Yuli's gotten to the heroic age before me, but because he went heroic age, all I have to do is go and attack him. and I can actually get value. If I sit back and I just let him get heroic age, all that does is it lets him get that tech. So I just need to attack, and I need to find some value, and I found that value in killing off some villagers on the gold mine, which does set him back. I also lose a whole bunch of units here, but I got so much in the tank here that it doesn't matter. I got ceasefire as well. If I need to, I really don't want to use it because, I mean, best usage of ceasefire in this matchup is going to be against either Underworld Passage or like a Lightning Storm. So obviously Lightning Storm doesn't stop when you hit ceasefire, but you're going to get that time to rebuild all those units back out. So no real problems there. And we've also got a whole bunch of favor now to build manticores and get ourselves our fortress up and just make sure we're nice and strong here. I've got all my upgrades coming through. I did forget plow, it looks like. No, I think I just started farming, so I don't know if I forgot plow, but plow comes through. Need to get irrigation in as well. It's such a big technology. It's one that I forget quite a bit, but not in this game. So that feels good to get straight from plow into irrigation and really not be farming very much while sitting on plow. That's actually kind of a big deal. If you can skip time on plow and jump straight to irrigation, just a huge amount more food that you're going to be getting over your opponent. Because your opponent who jumps onto farms really early on plow, that's sad. Plow farms are sad. Irrigation farms, less sad. We're also just going to get all our upgrades and just try and get to the mythic age here. There's not really a whole lot of sense in pushing at the very start here, at the very heroic age here, unless you're going for some sort of underworld play, like I say, like onto the gold mine. But yeah, if my opponent wants to get caught out of position, yeah, I can come and kill him. But seems like Ulysses here, he just wanted to tap out at this point. It's a good win. I think Ulysses probably could have fought on a little bit longer. I'm very much in front on economy here. I think I'm at full villages. I'm getting fortified town centers. I got all these upgrades. And yeah, he's asking me if I think Centaurs are still good in the Zeus War, and I think, yep. I think Centaurs are the way to go in the Zeus War to kick the game off. I think you basically go for a handful of Centaurs, drop the second town center, and then you just kind of play from there with Hippias. I think that's the best way to go. And yeah, if you got any other questions about this matchup and any other things that you think I missed talking about in this post commentary, please let me know. My name's Boit, and I'll see you guys in the next game.